Barça! Barça! Barça!
Hello and welcome to Talk FCB, and welcome back here to the channel, guys, and welcome here to the match preview between Barcelona and Leganes coming into this one in what will be our third home game in a row in the space of 7 days at the Camp Nou. And in this particular encounter, we face bottom half opposition in the form of Leganes. But before we all get a bit too confident here, we cannot forget what happened in the reverse fixture of this one, where Leganes registered their very first win of the season. At the time, who was that against? It was against us. Of all teams, Leganes beat Barcelona. We cannot let that happen again. It's time for some revenge, but more than that, it's time to win and maintain our lead at the top. Kickoff will be coming to us at 8:45 local time at the Camp Nou. We're in the final game here of the weekend on the Sunday night, as we have been on a number of occasions to good success throughout this season so far. And here, as always, guys, are the times right around the world so you can get involved with this one. You have been involved also, of course, in your predictions, with a lot of you, once again, the majority, just over half of you, predicting tomorrow a win by 3 goals. You predicted the same against Levante, and that turned out exactly correct. And I've also asked you guys whether or not you expect a clean sheet from tomorrow's game, and an overwhelming yes. A lot of confidence tomorrow in our defence, and in recent times, that's good to see. Elsewhere in La Liga this weekend, certainly at the top of the table, there have been some very important fixtures. Real Madrid earlier on today beat Sevilla by 2-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu, with 2 late goals coming from Casemiro and Luka Modric, in what was really an uncharacteristically poor performance from Sevilla, who've been so good this season but really weren't today at the Bernabeu. And meanwhile, Atletico Madrid in the game after that one comfortably beat relegation threatened Huesca to really keep the pressure on us at the top of the table. And if we do have a look now at the La Liga table, it does mean that when you look at the results that have already happened this weekend, we know going into tomorrow's game exactly what we've got to do. We know what's at stake, we know what's happened. With Real Madrid beating Sevilla, they've moved into third. Atletico Madrid keeping the pressure on us at the top of the table, cutting our lead there to just 2 points. We cannot afford any slip up tomorrow, none whatsoever, if we want to restore our lead at the top to 5 points, which of course we certainly do. And if we talk now about our opponents, Leganes, who are currently sitting in 13th place in La Liga and actually beat Real Madrid in the midweek on Wednesday by a goal to 0, but that wasn't enough to see them through in the Copa del Rey. They did still head out 3-1 on aggregate. And as you mentioned earlier, of course, we cannot forget they do have a win against us under their belt this season, when they didn't just win against us earlier on the season, they hadn't won prior to that game. They went into it, they went 1-0 down, and they actually came back against us to win by 2-1 at the end of September. However, the one thing that I've really got to say here, and I've got to hammer home, is Leganes at home and Leganes away are 2 very different teams, 2 completely different propositions, simply because on home form, Leganes have been so solid, picked up some really good results, and I would say they're a top half team with the 9th best home record in the league this season. But away, they have been shambolic. They've been poor, they've been woeful. They picked up just 6 points across their games away from home in La Liga, and they do have the 3rd worst record away from home in La Liga this season. And in fact, they've only won once against Valladolid in their last 25 away La Liga games. They've lost 18 of those, and they certainly won't be heading to the Camp Nou tomorrow with any confidence whatsoever, with the odds firmly stacked against them. Whereas on the flip side of that, it is absolutely safe to say that we will be confident heading into this one, and not only confident, but I would say very confident right now. We are on fire, winning games, scoring an abundance of goals, and most importantly as well, keeping it just a bit tighter at the back, a little more focus, a little more concentration, and suddenly now we're starting to look a lot better, and that's really good. And I just want to throw your way here, guys, some very encouraging stats heading into this one about our season so far. So just for starters, if we throw out that we'll be aiming to record our 7th successive league victory tomorrow, following our wins against Villarreal, Espanyol, Levante, Celta, Getafe and Eibar. And tomorrow will indeed be our 3rd successive game at home, following our 3-0 wins over Eibar, which happened last weekend, and also Levante in midweek in the Copa del Rey. And in our last 3 games at the Camp Nou, we've kept clean sheets in every single one of them. And it's not only the positive stats with regard to defending of late either, when you consider the attacking form that we're in right now. We are scoring goal after goal after goal. And the best thing is, it's not just Messi. It's not just Messi. It's not all on his shoulders. If it's not Messi, it's Suarez. If it's not Suarez, it's Dembele. If it's not Dembele, it's Coutinho. We've got a really good attacking balance right now. Everybody's chipping in, and that's the way that it should be. Free score in Barcelona, playing attacking football, and as well, keeping it nice and tight, nice and concentrated at the back to try and make life really as easy as we possibly can to ourselves and give ourselves the opportunity to rotate during games if we need to. And so I'm really, really hopeful that tomorrow we can continue this recent momentum, keep it going, keep that confidence building. One thing that we do have to watch out for though is with regard to Ivan Rakitic and Jordi Alba, who both right now are on 4 yellow cards in La Liga this season. They've picked up those 4 yellow cards during the season so far, and one more they will face a 1-match suspension, and if they did pick that up in the Leganes game, they would then miss Girona away, which is our next league game, which could be a very, very tricky game. So certainly there needs to be caution over those 2 players. I would expect them both to be involved tomorrow, and if they are, they've got to keep their mouth shut, they've got to keep their tackles within the limits, and just be careful of picking up that 1 yellow card, which could lead to a very problematic suspension, particularly there at left back. And just before we do get on to Ernesto Valverde's team selection and my prediction for the lineup, I want to quickly touch on this Frenkie de Jong news, and I'm not going to go into it in a great amount of detail right now. I'm going to wait a few days and give you the full picture on this, because I don't really want it to turn into a saga. We've heard so much about it, so many different direction changes, but the final thing that I'm going to say on this right now is Frenkie de Jong's decision, according to the Catalan media, is not decided. He's not concretely going to PSG, and potentially there might have been some kind of U-turn. Barcelona, Pep Segur, Bartomeu, Abidal, they all travelled to Amsterdam just a few days ago now, and they sat down with de Jong himself. They presented something to Ajax, and potentially from that moment something changed. Whether they upped their offer, whether they gave him some assurances over playing time, whatever they said in that meeting, potentially it has had a big effect, because right now it's not certain that he'll go to PSG. He may have been swayed, he may have had his mind changed, and now de Jong could be back on our radar. But like I say, let's wait and see. I'm not going to turn this into a saga. I'm going to wait and see how it goes. So many rumours, so many people getting involved. Let's just wait, hope for the best, and get on with our football. And Ernesto Valverde himself simply wasn't going to be giving anything away in his pre-match press conference. He was asked directly about Frenkie de Jong. Were we interested? Are we going to make an offer? Is he close to joining? He said, look, de Jong is a player of another club. We like him, of course. He's a good player. He's a very, very talented boy. But at the same time, I'm not going to talk about him. Valverde said he's not going to talk about anything connected with de Jong and Barcelona until anything is official. He cannot say anything. But moving on now to our squad list for today's game, and I'm delighted to announce here, guys, that Malcolm is back involved. Ter Stegen, Semedo, Piqué, Rakitic, Busquets, Coutinho, Arthur, Luis Suarez, Messi, Dembele, Sillerson, Malcolm is there, Longley, Murillo, Alba, Roberto, Alenia, Arturo Vidal, and Thomas Vermaelen returns to the squad there. It's a home game, so at the end of it, a few players will be cut from this, but everybody in line to be involved tomorrow there in the squad list. And if we now move on to my predicted lineup, where I am going strong. And I do want to fully explain my reasoning behind this decision here to really play a strong team tomorrow at home against Leganes, because a lot of people now will say, look, we've got a game in the midweek against Sevilla in the Copa del Rey. It's on Wednesday. Our first leg is away from home. That is going to be there a really, really tough game. So what we should do is rest everybody in this game and be ready for that, because it's Sevilla, because it's a big game. But at the same time, the league is still much more of a priority for us than the Copa is. Even though we got a hard team, it doesn't make the Copa del Rey now more important than the league. The most important thing by far for us this weekend is getting 3 points against Leganes, and that is why I would start strong. And even in this team here, you still rest players. Sillerson won't be playing, so he's going to be rested. Ter Stegen comes in. You've got Jordi Alba here at left back. Semedo's not going to play there at right back. Roberto, I would bring back in. I think Longley and Gerard Piqué there are certainly options. Keep that defence solid. Try and get another clean sheet. And what I would do again is just overpower Leganes in terms of our attack. We've got so much quality here that I've already spoke about today. Coutinho from the left, Messi down the middle, Dembele here, and Luis Suarez returning to the lineup, starting there as the centre forward. And in this midfield here, Arthur and Busquets are options. Busquets was rested in midweek. You could bring him in. You could give Vidal a rest. You could give Rakitic a rest, especially given the Rakitic is just one booking away from suspension. Maybe he'll get a very well-earned rest here against Leganes. And like I say, just play your strong team, win by a few goals, keep that confidence going, and then use that Copa del Rey game again to play some of these regular guys guys, but also rotate, because the Copa is not a priority ahead of the league season. Start strong, deal with Leganes. We cannot afford to underestimate them. We did that a few months ago and we ended up losing. They're not good away from home. Our attacking quality is definitely there. We can threaten them so much with this kind of lineup, and in doing that, you continue that confidence, continue that momentum, score a few goals, get that clean sheet if you can, and then on to Sevilla and see how it goes. And so, on the back of a successful, I repeat, successful score prediction against Levante, I got one right. I went 3-0. In this game, I'm going to go big again. I'm going to go big. I'm going to go bold. We're going to go strong. I'm going to go with Barcelona 5, Leganes 0. I'm going out on a whim here. I'm going for a big win. We're on fire right now going forward. I would love another clean sheet. Leave your predictions down below, guys. What do you think the score is going to be? Who should start? Do you agree with my lineup or do you disagree? Would you rotate in this game? Let me know in the comments down below. I will see you soon, of course, with more videos. But until then, as always, Visca el Barça!
Barça!